So I'm a little bit excited today because there was an eclipse and I saw it out the corner of my eye, so just a little bit excited, bit of nerd joy going on, so I'm just going to have to calm myself down. But I thought, what more appropriate day, to be honest, to talk about this? At this time, when the church was still a little bit, you know, in control of everything, an eclipse would have been seen as a portentous event. So, you know, portentous, I love that word. Anyway, this is the book set in the past, I think. It wasn't the book set in the past. Because there isn't one, basically. It's the book that's been turned into a TV show, which of course Wolf Hall has. It's been turned into that TV show that everybody complains about because it's dark, like there'd be light bulbs back in the oldie days of yore. Of course there would be, bless you. Anyway, as we know, this magnificent Booker Prize winning book is about the early years of Cromwell. I say early because he gets quite old in it, really. It sort of ends around about 5 years before everything goes very badly wrong for Crommy. But it is a literary historical fiction, or a literary historical fictionalized account. And it follows some of his early life, but mostly it concerns sort of his middle years, where he's in the service of Wolsey and sort of Wolsey's downfall and Cromwell's rise in King Henry VIII's court as he helps good old Henry eject the one wife so he can marry the other, which, you know, under Catholic law is a bit of a no-no unless one can annul the marriage on sort of basis of not being able to have one's carnal pleasures. But apparently Henry cannot do this. He's trying to persuade old Pope to let him do this, but the Pope's not having any of it. He's like, nope, none of that shit. So Cromwell, of course, has to help and get a bit sneaky and ends up elevating Henry VIII as the head of the Church of England, which basically enables him to ditch any wife he wants so he can marry any wife he wants. And we know where that goes, you know. So that's basically what it's about. I think everybody pretty much knows what it's about. It's been all over the place. It's won quite a few awards, and quite rightly. I mean, I love Hilary Mantel. I've read her books before. I think she's a marvellous writer. Moreover, I think she is a wonderful academic and a marvellous woman. I love her enthusiasm for literature and history and everything. She's just wonderful. And I adored this book. Her writing is an absolute powerhouse in it. It takes till about halfway through to really sort of find its motor. I mean, it's not uninteresting until then. It's super interesting until then. This lady knows her shit. She does her research and she peppers this book with such wealth of historical knowledge, and there's her joy in these historical figures really, really shines through. So even though things only really sort of take off once Wolsey is knocked out of the picture, up until then I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I got through this book far faster than I thought I would, considering it's a bit of a tome, bit of a doorstop. But yeah, absolutely rushed through it, loved it to pieces, would highly recommend it. Of course it's a Booker Prize winner, but you know, that's no guarantee of them being interesting to read. I'm sorry, it needs to be said. It is no guarantee of an interesting read just because it's won a Booker Prize. But this is a super interesting read. It's also brilliant. This woman has such a grasp on how to construct a sentence. It's unreal. Not even kidding. Some of the sentences in this book were just like, oh yes, that is how you use language. Anyway, that's that. The next book is The Book with Magic. And I had a little bit of a wobble on this. I thought, do I read something like The Prestige, or do I, you know, focus on fantasy? I used to read a lot of it when I was a teenager. A lot. And then I kind of got bored of it, so I stopped reading it. I have read some good fantasy recently, but back when I was a teenager, the fantasy I was reading, every new book I got, I just got bored. I mean, I found some interesting stuff like Eyes of the Calculor. Can't remember who that's by, but that's a good book. But anyway, I decided to try N.K. Jemisin's books. Quite difficult because there are 2 trilogies, possibly more, I don't know, but I know definitely there are 2 trilogies, and they both looked very interesting. But I decided to go for book 1 of the Dream Blood, just because I like the idea of Dream Blood. So next week I'm going to be sort of semi-reviewing The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. Hope you'll turn up and watch that.